So now I'm going to show you how to actually create that document that I use as my cheat sheet as a really good study tool. So I'm going to open up a brand new Word document. And when I create, I'm going to do my screen share so you can see what I'm doing while I'm doing it. That would be helpful. Okay. So when I get into here, the very first thing that I do is I'm going to go into the page layout and I increase my margin size. I make narrow margins so that I have more room to work with. There's a couple things you can do if you want to change it to landscape so that you can type a lot of notes. You can do that. I normally don't, but you know that's pretty easy to do. There's landscape or portrait, you know Word, you know how to do it. So it's going to be on your preference depending on how many notes you like to type in. But I'm just going to leave it as normal as portrait instead of landscape. Now we're going to go in and we're going to choose a verse. I'm going to pull up Romans 2:8 because I'm already there. And so the first thing I do is I'm going to go to my Peshitta and I'm going to copy and paste what I need. I don't really need the Aramaic, although you can take the Aramaic in with it if you want, but I'll copy and paste and I'll put that over in my document. That way I have a reference point. And of course, I keep it in the format. That way all the words are going from right to left and it's not throwing things in opposite orders to confuse things. And again, depending on what you want to take, I love to have the Etheridge and the King James Version so I know English what I'm breaking down.
And do you have to have the Aramaic or the Hebrew characters in your Word program?
No, nope, okay. You do not. It will just pull it over. So that's helpful. Great question. Then what I go is I come back to the Peshitta and I'm going to hit the Analyze button. And as soon as I do the Analyze, it's going to pull up. And I know you've seen this before because you've probably messed around in it before. And I am going to copy and paste. So I'm going to click on and I'm going to drag my cursor over everything. And I'm going to take this whole thing with me. I'm going to take all of it and then copy and paste it. Keep the format. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff I do not need. Whole bunch of stuff I don't need. And I'll show you what I'm going to. So I'm going to start here with the JEN, and I'll end up showing you why. It'll make sense as I'm doing this. I'll drag my cursor, I'll drag it all the way down to the bottom. Right click, delete columns. Now that got rid of all the stuff that I don't need. Part of it anyway. Put the mouse over this column. Click on it, hit your delete key, it'll clear out everything that was in that column, and this is where I type notes. So I just created my note section. Now, there's a couple other things that I need to get rid of. Category, I don't care about this, so I'm going to do the same thing. I highlighted the column, I'm going to hit delete, and I'm going to put Hebrew. Then I do not need this vocalized or ID, so I'm going to highlight both of those, and I'm going to right-click, delete columns. So now, all I have left is I have an area for my Hebrew, I have the root of the Aramaic word, and then I have the way it was written in Aramaic in the verse. So at this point, I need to get the Hebrew in here. Now, there's a couple things that you can do, and I'm just going to show you how I do it. Everyone is probably going to find faster, easier ways. I'm just showing you what I've learned, and it just becomes, I don't know, it's my little routine.
Yeah.
And it helps. I mean, the one I had to do it, this one is a lot easier than trying to do it from Bible Hub for Hebrew, but I essentially did the same thing. Very, very similar, but I had to go through different steps because of the way Bible Hub is set up. But if you can create this, this table, then it allows you to learn much quicker than trying to do word by word and kind of the way, if you've seen my husband, how he does it on his paperwork, it works for him, but it's too much. I don't get to see, it's too confusing. I like to see everything in a more controlled manner, but it works for him. It works for him. And so I'm not going to change that because he's getting what he needs to, how he needs to. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to highlight all of this and I'm going to copy it. And then I know this seems silly, but I want to keep the format above. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it There we go. I'm going to copy and paste it, and then I'm going to move the words. So because it's right to left, if you do it correctly and it copies correctly,
Yes.
double click, move. And I'm going to go all the way down.
Yeah. Okay.
Oops. And so now I'm putting each word in the box that it needs to, corresponding. This, there might be an easier way for me to do it, but this is what I found works for me. And because I've done it so many times, I don't find that it's that difficult. So it might take me 5 to 10 minutes to make my graph or my chart. Who cares? When you start getting where you're losing pages, this is what I will also do. All these little tricks. So I'm going to cut these out and move them down. All right, so let me make sure. Oh, that's interesting. That has a word for death in it. Huh, I'll have to show that to Ken. And then here we go. And then I need to get them the same font size. So I'll go format, printer, and get them all the same format. You can make these larger if you want, of course, if you want the font larger so you can see it. If I'm making a chart for somebody that I'm going to show online, of course, I'm going to make the letters bigger. But if you're just doing it on your own screen, then you have everything that you need to do. The last thing that you can do is extend your note out. And there you go. You are ready to go to start inputting things that you need.